guys, I just came home from class and I had dinner, put my robe on, just having some tea before I hop into the shower. And sorry, my voice is like really off right now, but I wanted today's video to be about how many no's until you achieve your dream. And I've had this come up so many times in my life. I really want to try keeping this short and simple. I don't want to ramble on, but I'm going to give you today's example in class. So I had a midterm, and although like I did well, it's not the highest grade that I've ever gotten. And honestly, for the amount I studied, I could have got more if I didn't change my answers in the end, and I have a bad habit of doing that. But it's probably like the lowest mark I've gotten in the past, like, I don't know, 3 years or something. So it obviously did not sit well with me. And I was 1% away from being happy with my mark. And there was a question on the exam which I felt like I could potentially get an extra point for. And everyone in my class gets different exams, but I found a girl in my class who had the same question as me and also got it incorrect, and we were basing it off the theory that we learned in the textbook and we learned in class, and it just didn't make sense. So at the end of class, we approached the prof and we said, you know, like, this is what we are concerned about, and we would really like to get the extra mark for this, or if you could just take it off the exam so that we could go 1% higher. And he explained, like, you know, sometimes the questions on the exam, they don't make sense, and none of the answers are correct, but you have to choose the one that's most correct. And basically it's one of those questions. And so he said no, and then she left, she walked away, and I was ready to kind of like discuss it more, but I also had other things I wanted to discuss with him. But after we discussed those other things, I kind of hopped back to the question of him giving me an extra point or removing the question. And he said no again. And then I was like, okay, cool. We started talking about something else, and before I left again, I very politely, gently asked again if he could please give me an extra mark or remove the question off the exam. And he's like, okay, like, what are you looking for? And I was like, I'm just 1% away from being, I think it was 1% away from being at an A, or at least like closer to what I'm usually comfortable with. And he changed it. He was like, okay, you know what, like, fine, I'll do it. He's like, but only for you, like, don't tell anyone. And it's not necessarily just for me. I think it's just because I pushed it. And that's where I realized, like, you know what, like, what if I just said, okay, you know what, he said no the very first time, just like the other girl that was standing next to me, and just walked away. Like, I could have just not had that extra mark. And if the second time he said no, and then I walked away, but on the third try he said yes. So this has happened to me so many times. Like, I remember in my nursing program, like, I had to write an entrance exam, and I think I was shy 2% on that exam. I think we needed an 80 and I got a 78 or something. And the entrance to that exam was for the September fall intake, and the next one wasn't going to be a year, like, till the next September or something. And I remember receiving my results, being so devastated, and I studied like months for this exam. I think I studied like 5 to 6 months for this exam. And instead of taking that no, I, like, you know, I just like went to talk to, I think, an academic advisor, and then they were like, oh, you can like sign up for like other courses in the meantime, and you just have to wait another 6 months or a year till you write the exam again. And I was like, no, like, I need to be in that September intake. I don't want to be in any other intake. Like, this is the exam that I want. This is the intake I want to be in. And I've studied like so hard for this exam. It just doesn't make sense how, like, I can't, like, I'm just a few percent shy. Like, I need to redo this exam ASAP. And so they told me to come back the next day. I went back to school the very next day. I went to the head of the department. I spoke to her on the phone. I explained to her how hard I had been studying. I asked her, you know, please give me a second try. I promise, like, I will pass on the second try. I'm going to do my best to pass on the second try. and she gave me that second chance. And if I just took that no, oh my God, it makes me emotional because it's happened to me so many times. If I just took that no, like I would have just, I don't know, like I wouldn't be in the cohort I was in. I wouldn't have done as well as I did, because I did do really well in that class, or in that nursing program, because my teachers were great, and I did have such a supportive friend group in that nursing program, where if it was any other way, I don't think I would have done as well as I did. And I graduated with straight A's every single term, except for the first term. I think I got like 1B, but it wouldn't have been that way if it wasn't for the people that I was surrounded by. And so if I took that no, I wouldn't be anywhere close to where I am today. And that's my message to you guys, to just always keep pushing sometimes. And it could seem like someone's shutting, like the door is shut, like this door is not meant for you, like go in a different direction. I know we hear that a lot, like sometimes it's a no and you need to go another way. But sometimes you just need to try until like you have a definite no, because you don't know what doors are going to open for you. You can't just turn back on the first no. And I don't want anyone to manipulate what I'm saying in this message. Like, this has nothing to do with consent or someone's personal boundaries. Like, if someone is not comfortable with you in their space and they say no, then you have to respect that. But I'm talking about more like academics and like your dream. Like my dream is to have like my bachelor's. So like that's important to me. That's a dream of mine. And I have other many goals, and I just know that like turning away on the first no is never the right answer when it comes to things like this. So please, like, that's what I want to highlight in this message. Like, how many no's are you willing to take in order to sacrifice your dreams? How many no's are in the way of your dreams? Okay, like find another route. Like that time that I had to find like the head of the department, it wasn't like easy. It wasn't like they were like, oh yeah, you can just go to the office upstairs and go find the head of the department for the nursing program and you can go talk to her. It wasn't so easy. It was me trying to enroll in other courses the same day, me like waking up extremely early, by the way, like, and I used to work like 3 jobs at the time, and like going to school, like transiting all the way there because I didn't have a car at that time, and like calling people, and then I went to the library and like said, you know what, like this is a study pamphlet that I found online for the nursing exam, and I need like, do you have any other resources? And I just remember being so anxious and in a panic, and she gave me another outline for the exam. And the second time I wrote the exam, I must have got, I think, close to 100%. Like I got 90-something% on that exam. And people in my family were like, oh, like, how come we just didn't do that the first time? How come we just didn't study that way the first time? It's like, no, there is a lesson to be learned. And even in the nursing program, I remember the first semester when I got a B. By the way, my Musty made these, so thank you. But the first semester when I got all A's and 1B, it wasn't an easy process. I remember in one of the programs or one of the classes, I think I failed one exam because the passing rate is 60-something, 68, and I got below that. And it wasn't because I didn't know what I was doing. It's because there's a way to answer multiple choice questions and I wasn't getting the hang of it. So even in my pharmacology, I kept changing my answers, and I still obviously do that till this day. I have a really bad habit. Changing my answers to the wrong one, failed my pharmacology with 1 mark, had to retake it at the end of the semester and like do a retake exam. And if I didn't pass that retake exam, I would not be going with the next cohort into the next level. And I had to redo it, and it wasn't that I was stupid. It was just because I didn't know how to write these exams and I kept doubting myself. And I recall going to my pharm teacher, and she was quite young herself, and being like, you know what, like I'm struggling. Do you think I need to drop out of this program? And it was the hardest thing for me because it's something that I wanted for her so long. And I wasn't sure if it was meant for me. I didn't know if I was actually stupid or if I couldn't figure out how to write these exams and that I actually had the knowledge. And she didn't give me a direct answer. She's like, you know what, like just keep going and see where the term takes you. And imagine if I took that one like fail. Not that I failed the final, but like that one midterm and I like decide to like, you know what, this is not for me and leave. Like I wouldn't be where I am today and I wouldn't have all the opportunities that I have today. So that's the message. Please don't back away from your dreams just because someone says no to you, just because you hear no 100 times. Sometimes you just need to try different avenues, different pathways, talk to people, communicate with people, talk to everyone that you can talk to. Like I remember for this midterm, I talked to like 5 girls that I knew. No one had notes on this class, and although they all took the class, they couldn't find their notes. And one girl came through and I studied her notes, and some of the questions that were in her notes or some of the info that was on her notes was on the exam. And if I just took no from the first 4 people, I wouldn't have done as well as I did. So yeah, don't take no for an answer when it comes to your dreams. How many no's are in between, how many no's until your dream, and how many no's until you face your yes. Love you guys. Bye.